Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here at MetroEast Community Media in Gresham, Oregon. And before I introduce our first guest tonight, I want to tell you about an open house that we have coming up on Saturday, September 21st. You are all invited to come. It is free. It's for family and friends. Bring your neighbors. We'll have food. We're going to show off all of our new equipment. We're now broadcasting in high definition. We have a lot of cool things going on, raffle prizes, and if you've never been here, come check us out. We're all about volunteers here at MetroEast. In fact, our crew here is mostly volunteers. Hey, can you get a wide shot maybe of our crew here? We have Ian here, we have Brian here, Sharon and Martin in the back, and Ramon. They do a terrific job for us. So if you're interested, please do come check it out. And now for my first guest tonight, I have Gabe Graff, who's with the City of Portland. Thanks for being here, Gabe.
Of course.
And you are the program manager for Safe Routes to School, correct?
Correct, yes.
So Safe Routes to School is a pretty big program, right? It's not just in the City of Portland.
Yeah, so I work for the City of Portland for the Bureau of Transportation,
Okay.
and we run our own Safe Routes program that serves schools in 5 districts all over the city. But the Safe Routes program as a whole, or maybe you could call it more of a movement, operates on lots of levels. So there's Oregon Department of Transportation runs sort of a statewide effort, and then there's programs in each of the states.
Wow. So as a program manager, what does that mean that you are in charge of? What do you do there?
Well, I have a great job. We get to work on making it safer and easier for students to get to and from school on foot or by bike, carpooling, bus. It entails, there's lots of different pieces to that. So it can be working with traffic engineers to make the streets around schools safer, working with police to make sure that drivers know that school's back in session, they need to be driving 20 miles per hour around school zones, working with parents to organize volunteer efforts like walking school buses, which we'll talk more about, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Teachers, so all kinds of fun
There are a lot of
partnerships.
facets to it, isn't there? You brought a video that kind of gives a good feel for what it's all about. So why don't we take a look at that now, and then we can kind of elaborate a little bit more about Safe Routes.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's take a look at it now.
If you walk with a walking school bus, raise your hand.
Walking school buses are groups of kids who meet up together, usually led by a parent, and walk to school together so that it's supervised walking to school.
I was interested in my kids walking every day, but it was difficult for me on my own schedule to walk them every day just because school starts later in the day than I normally get to my office. And the same is true for my wife. We both work. I was talking to a friend of mine about this issue, and she was saying, well, you should start a walking school bus.
Hey, here we go, guys.
The concept of a walking school bus is basically replicating what occurs in an actual school bus, but you do it with the children on a trail or on a side path.
In our case, everyone brings their kids to this particular corner. There are 2 parents that are assigned every day to walk those kids to school. So those 2 parents then take off with a group of kids and just accompany them on their walk in.
It's fun for the kids, it's fun for the adult, and the parents who are sending their kids out to walk in the walking school bus feel safe, that they know where their kid is, that they've got some leadership and direction and are part of something larger.
It's a really innovative idea, and it's one that can actually be used even with students who live more than a mile or 2 from schools. Children who live in rural communities, for example, could still ride the bus to a point a mile or 2 away from school and could be walked to school from that point as well.
One of the most important things about kids walking to schools, I think they get physically more fit and excited about coming to school. And I think when you're physically active, you're more attentive to the daily routine.
It's been a wonderful thing for my neighborhood because kids get out every morning, rain or shine. Parents are committed to be there, and the kids walk, and they actually love it when the weather's a little inclement. It makes it kind of fun to walk in. They enjoy the social time they have before they get to school. They get to school energized. They've already kind of gotten some of their blood flowing, and they're woken up. and the parents get a chance to meet each other, get to know each other, socialize a little bit on their way in.
This walking school bus is an opportunity to exercise, to socialize, and to learn about their community. So I encourage anybody that wants to join, please join us.
There was this researcher who did this study with a bunch of elementary school kids and had them draw maps of their neighborhood, and those students who were driven to school would draw a box that was their house, a box that was the school, and a line between, and that was it. That was the map of their neighborhood. But if you walk to school as a young person, you realize that there's like this cool tree over here, and the playground over there, and the neighborhood store with the 5-cent candy on the way.
And it's a great way for parents to get to know the other kids that are going to the school, really get to know their community and really be a part of it.
It's been a great success, and the kids are certainly happier walking in than they were waiting in the car and waiting in line at the school drop-off.
I like that a lot.
It gives a good flavor for it.
It does, and it's very good at explaining exactly what Safe Routes is all about, or at least a portion of it. How do the kids respond to that walking school bus and doing this as a group? It looks like they really do enjoy that.
Kids love it. I think so much of school time is structured these days. You know, there's so many. So many goals to meet, so many academic hours. So students end up with not very much unstructured time or time to just chat with their friends.
Right, catch up and what did you do over the weekend?
Right, exactly. So I think young people really value that opportunity to just be walking next to somebody and chatting.
Yeah, well, they can get all that out of their system before they get to school.
Yeah, the exercise is
the exercise.
For
you
those
can
teachers
you can tell all your little stories from the weekend. You can, have a little bonding time with your friends. I think that's a great idea. And it's rain or shine.
Yeah, no, we've got schools who do it once a month. We've got schools that do it every week. So it really, our International Walk and Bike to School Day, which is a celebration. Yes, October 9th, Wednesday. So some schools just do it once a year. Kind of depends how much. How easy the school is to walk to, how involved the parents are in organizing, and but I encourage folks to get involved.
Yeah, I bet that does make a huge difference as to where the school is located, whether it's in a really busy urban area or if it's or if it's a really long ways to school in a more of a rural area.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the city of Portland, many of the schools are 60, 70 years old, and they were built at a time when most students were walking to school. So when we got lots of complaints at the city about the congestion around schools during pickup and drop off, and it's because these schools are plunked down in residential neighborhoods where by design students were walking to them, but that has really shifted over time.
Not the way it's
there are other schools, maybe more in the periphery of the city, more in, where there are the schools are located where the land is the cheapest, and it tends to be on an arterial, and the vehicles are traveling fast. Those are harder schools to walk to.
Yeah, that would be difficult. Have you gotten any pushback from parents or teachers or government, like the police or anybody else, as far as there pretty much widespread acceptance for this program?
Well, we started our comprehensive program in 2005, and we started with 8 schools, and it took some work identifying the schools that were excited to be our partners in the beginning, but over time, as I think different school communities see success at their neighboring school or around the city.
Why don't we have that?
Exactly. So once we had a few good success stories, we pretty much work in every elementary school in the city now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big job.
Yeah. 80 plus schools. So.
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge job. So where does the funding come from for this?
Well, the city of Portland is fortunate in that when traffic fine revenue was raised, the city council allocated a portion of that to safety work. So traffic fines were raised all over the state, but our city government decided that a chunk of that should be dedicated, and so the Safe Routes to School program gets a source of funding from what we call the traffic safety account.
That's right.
So we're fortunate in that we have funding. It varies, but funding year to year, sustainable funding. Whereas around the state, where some of the other communities struggle with, is there's grants that are available to do this kind of work, but they come and they go. So
Yeah, they're not there consistently all year round.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have events that come up? I mean, I know you have the International Walk and Bike to School Day. Do you have other things that go on during the year that are special events?
Yeah, well, throughout the whole school year, we're always trying to figure out ways to make students and their parents excited about getting to school in active ways. During the month of May, we celebrate Walk and Bike Challenge Month. So that's for schools who have seen some success at organizing their one-day events and want to try and get people to do it more regularly and sort of integrate it into their daily routines. And then we organize events and trainings for parents or volunteers who are interested in trying to help crack the nut about how to get the school and their community involved.
So what's the biggest volunteer need you have? Where do you put your volunteers? Is it to try to convince a school to get with the program, so to speak, or is it to
It's sort of
walk with
all
the kids?
across the board. We teach pedestrian safety to second graders. We teach bike safety to fifth graders. So we have volunteers help with those classes because, a class of 30 students, 30 second graders walking around the school, or 30 fifth graders riding around the neighborhood.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah, it's nice to have a few extra adults out there.
Yeah, I agree.
So those are great volunteer opportunities. And then we have parents who once a week or once a month volunteer to walk their student, and they pick up other students along the way, as was shown in that video.
I love the idea of parents and volunteers walking my kid to school, because it just seems so much safer. And because if you have a little kid like a second grader wanting to walk to school, that can be a little shaky sometimes. So that's
it's nice to have some responsible adults out there, especially when if your route crosses busier streets. Not everyone's got the work schedule or the folks are busy, and not every second grader is lucky enough to have a big older brother or sister who can walk with them. So,
but do you have a pretty ongoing need for volunteers though?
Yeah. If folks are interested in helping out, we're always excited.
I see this flyer here. We have MetroEast did a video recently, not unlike the one that you did, but it's a little bit different. This is the walking school bus, and we did this with the Troutdale Elementary kids. And this one is focused just on the kids. It's kind of their point of view, and they sing and they dance and they have a good time. But our crew, our staff here had a great time working with them, and I was pretty impressed by that whole concept. The walking school bus is perfect for kids, because that's just such a funny little idea. I think they really probably pick up on that. So what do you have going on in the future? You've got the International Walk and Bike to School Day. What other things do you go to other events, like if there's like a street fair, a community event at a park or something? Do you guys table at things like that, or? Yeah,
we tend to, if there's a particular school that seems like there's administrators or teachers or parents who are interested in making something happen there, we'll go meet with them and figure out how we can help, what resources we can provide, or sometimes there are safety issues that we need to respond to. We have a great event coming up on September 26th, a Thursday. It's our fall kickoff, and it's kind of a volunteer orientation. So for people who aren't familiar with the program and want to figure out how they could help, it would be a great opportunity. That's at Temple Baptist Church in Northeast Portland, 1319 Northeast 7th. Perfect. Okay, that's a great opportunity to get involved. Yeah. Anything else? We're just about out of time. Anything else we should know about this, Gabe? Well, the other thing I would share is that I think the program, locally at least, has had good results. So we're seeing since we started surveying parents in 2005, more and more students are walking and biking. So and lots of good benefits come from that. Yeah, the students love it. Parents appreciate the additional flexibility and freedom that their students have, and it's good in the classroom too. Yeah, it's healthier. It's healthier. Yeah. Great. Thank you very much, Gabe. I appreciate you being on tonight. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. No problem. Thanks for watching this first segment of Community Hotline. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more.
Community media is priceless.
Valuable.
Community media lets you tell your story to fit your needs.
My favorite thing about community media is it's got to be the people's shows.
I think my favorite one is Karaoke Oli.
Oh, Karaoke Oli's a good one.
We sing live karaoke on TV for an hour.
Hamster versus Monster.
Nap Time with Kittens.
Community media brings programming like Chambers of Commerce, the Faith Community.
Psycho Chicken.
Do you have any UFO shows?
No, I wish we did.
I would like one of those too.
Yeah.
Children's programs, high school sporting events, and of course the ubiquitous city council meetings.
Only when we hear from folks in their own voices with their own stories can we truly connect.